Ethan, if you don't want to be on screen, if you want to, that's fine. Guys, some attention, please, if you will.
So, I decided to stay here, not go to the front, so I'm closer to the crowd. I like to be close to the crowd. And I'm going to introduce Unitalent. I'm going to talk, also because we have some time today, so only 5 minutes. I'm going to talk about independent work. So how liquid workforces and how liquid talent management will change the way we perceive work, the way that we execute work, the way that we find work, our complete understanding, work philosophy for the future. We will be parents of a baby girl in 2 months. It's our first child, and I think she will be entering a very different work world compared to what we did. In terms of one-time education, a bachelor, a master, maybe a PhD, then you start working for a handful of corporations, most of the time employed, then you get retired at the age of 64. Most probably this is the past. It's now already the past. At the age when my daughter will enter the work life, it will definitely be the past. So we are facing a couple of challenges, and we are seeing a movement and a will from the people as well. So there are intrinsic factors, and there are extrinsic factors, zeitgeist factors, which are motivated by a lot of things, crises, or identity, or rebellism of a new generation, or just the way that technology, or the possibilities that technology gives us, how we can work, where we want to work, how we want to work, when we want to work. It's not labor, it's brain and knowledge work. So this is completely changing what we could possibly do. So Unitalent is about the possibility, or is a tool to give the crowd the possibility to really do so, and really work the way they want to. Unitalent is a blockchain-enabled platform, apparently, otherwise I would not be here, that connects high-skilled freelancers with corporate clients. Before I deep dive to this, I want to give you a short introduction where we come from. So we are a company established in 2013 with a belief and with a vision back then that access to talent is much more important than ownership of talent. I was working as a consultant myself. We were in teams of 3. We were junior guys. A senior guy made a handshake and he left. We analyzed clients' data. We had bright minds. We had very good methodology. We presented what the client already knew and we left. So during those projects, I encountered more and more often independent professionals, people who were much more knowledgeable about what they're selling. They were implementers and not only consulting people. And I started to think about how big is independent professionalism in terms of numbers, what professions are they working in, etc., etc. And I saw it as a quite big thing. It started about 15, 20 years ago. It started from the United States. It's swapping over to Europe. And that was a basic idea of how can we build a company, a forefront, where all those independent people can join forces and offer services as teams, like a virtual consulting company, not only as sole rangers, right? So that's where we come from. In 2013, we were already in Zoom, so I would say crypto came to us. We did not go to crypto, which is fate, I would say. I did not plan this to happen like this, but it is how it worked out. So the whole blockchain world came to us and we implemented or started thinking about, but I will get back to that later. In 2014, we were succeeding at working with one of the major life science corporations. You said Johnson & Johnson, we worked with Zimmer. It was a time where they were merging with Biomed, so it was a Fit for Merger program. We had 8 consultants, external consultants, from a network of independent professionals. So not our employees, but really curate the network. A $2 million project, very interesting, about 12 months. Then we started to open operations in the UK. It was a sales office, which is now close to London and Oxfordshire. In 2013, we thought we need a rebranding. We made a private stock company out of Success, so it became NZ Group, which is still today the entity or the legal entity behind our project. And you go on and go on. 2017, we started to develop a digital platform. We thought, okay, we need a digital platform to make things more efficient. And in fact, it was more about really making things, streamlining procedures, automate procedures. But it was, for us as a company, it was a major leap, but it was still, okay, it's kind of, what do you say, automation, digitization. Then, by the end of 2017, we also started looking into this blockchain world. So, does that really make sense for us? It's overpromising a lot of things that it's not holding because people are not really knowledgeable, don't deep dive into the blockchain technology. But I will also get to that later. Let's keep with our history. So, what I want to say, we are experts in the freelance economy. We are knowledgeable about the procedures, and we have been working with approximately 50 major global corporations, helping them to execute projects with a curated network of 750 independent professionals. Curated means we have onboarded them, we have interviewed them, we have vetted them, we have peer reviewed them, we have worked with a lot of those people, so it's not just a random bunch of people that have entered their names in an email, a newsletter, but that's our business model. And that's where we're standing today. We have 50 corporate clients, approximately 750 billion of vetted independent professionals, $10 million of year revenues. That's also how we have funded our project until today, of course. And our major operations are here in Zug, and we have executed projects in 9 countries around the world. Good. So, looking at the global landscape, because our operations until today was very focused in the DACH region. So our professionals come from the DACH region, our clients are mainly based in the DACH region. We follow them into their other markets if we ask for the similar services that we've been lucky enough to work on here, but that was our base here in the DACH region. But looking at the global landscape of the freelance economy, we're talking about above 160 million people working freelance, rising and growing at a pace of 5 to 6%. This is huge. So this is not just a couple of people between jobs thinking, okay, should I do a little freelance? This is a movement. This is something that is overwhelming, and we want it to be at the top of this wave, really defining and shaping how people work tomorrow, how people get rewarded for contributing to a community, not only being part of a platform, etc., etc. So we are also looking at a very niche market. We're looking at the 20% high-skilled freelancers. Global freelance market, there are Uber drivers, there are like artists, there are, I don't know, housekeeping personnel, and so on and so forth. So our target market is the top 20%. We're talking still about 30 million individuals worldwide. This is a McKinsey study. It's nothing that is conducted by us, and these are the facts there. So looking at the freelance economy, it is lacking trust. You're having, will I be get paid? Are the reviews fair? What is in case of disputes? No, if I refer my buddies to work on a project, will I be rewarded for that? If I become part of LinkedIn and create a lot of traction or a lot of value for LinkedIn, so the shareholders gain more and more value, and the best I get is maybe a project at some point of time. What about payments? So those problems are existing in the freelance market, and we can tackle them with a new technology called the blockchain technology, right? The freelance economy is per se decentral. So we have a decentral community. People are not sitting, all of them in Zoom. I cannot go and talk to everyone. I need a system that is decentral with blockchain. That's again the checkmark. And the freelance economy is using middlemen. Why? Because when freelancers work on projects, they work on projects. They have no time to do marketing and sales and promote themselves. No, they work on projects. They're experts in their field. And once they're off projects, they need a middleman, an agency like we are. So we are disrupting ourselves, charging hefty fees. And the economy is willing to pay so because there is literally no real other alternative. So we are charging 30-35% of fees, and everyone is more or less happy looking at the circumstances. So the question is, how can we make such an inefficient system more efficient? We're talking about work. People, freelancers, work 8, 10, 12 hours a day. So we're talking about the ownership of work. We are talking about freelancers. Freelancers are supposed to be free and not dependent on another middleman, which is not their employer in this case, but an agency, for instance, right? So this is the landscape that we are looking at, and this is the size of the market, right? 30 million people in a highly decentralized market, lack of trust, a lot of middlemen and high fees, super inefficient. What can blockchain do for this freelance market and freelance economy? We're talking about blockchain because blockchain allows transparent peer-to-peer contracts. So we can tell freelancers, we can introduce them to clients, corporate clients, and allow them to sign contracts peer-to-peer. And this is excellent. This gives them ownership of their work. That does not mean that we have to charge them or they are paying us only because they have to, but we need to think about ways how we can really add value in terms of the freelance economy, the freelance market, the freelance community to give us something back for them. So this is disruptive. This is disruptive for our own business, of course, and this is disruptive for the way that we are working as freelancers ourselves today, right? So the fees, apparently they go down. Payments, if freelancers will eventually accept payments in crypto, will be instant. I'm not saying that today this is going to happen for several reasons. One of those is compliance. You just said big corporations, they're thinking blockchain technology is super fancy. It's like the chief digital officer, right? Every one of our clients has a chief digital officer. That's the poorest guy. No budget, no employees, but the great network. That's exactly the phase before you get retired, but not allowed to get retired yet, right? So also blockchain is even worse. So everyone is thinking about blockchain, but no one is really doing something about it. And that's also, if we go and talk to a client, let's say Johnson & Johnson, we tell them we have an amazing product. It's all crypto, it's blockchain. The first thing they're going to show me is a door. So we can approach corporate clients, telling them we have like a crypto payment system that is doing instant payments. That's the one side of the equation. The other side is freelancers, high-skilled freelancers. Their premium source of income is freelancing. There are no moonlighters. There are no between-jobbing, third-job freelancers. There are people earning $1,000 a day. They are doing professional work. They're working on short, long-term projects, however, but their premium source of income. They have to pay for the children, for the rent, for their food, and still we cannot do that with crypto. Maybe in 2 years, we'll be able to do so. Excellent. Today we can. Therefore, I'm saying instant payments is an excellent thing that we can facilitate on such platforms. In the future, it has to be part of the architecture, but not for the moment. Then, what else do we have? Monetizing your network and reputation. That's something we cannot, or it is not offered in traditional digital platforms. If the token economy is defined as such, people can monetize whatever they bring in value. That means we can scale at a very, very high pace without pure marketing costs. It's like a self-incentivizing system. Another thing that we can do is that people or freelancers or users of a platform, they can take part in the value created on the platform as such. If you are a token holder of a platform that uses that token, name it whatever, beer token, beer coin, for instance, when you are a super beer drinker, every time you drink beer, you generate a natural demand for the token. The price of the token will go up, so you not only pay for the beer, but you also are kind of a shareholder or getting rewarded for the price of the beer token going up, right? This is amazing. This is something that on a traditional digital platform you could not do.
There was an applause.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. So looking here at the three different possibilities that a freelancer today has: an offline agency, an online agency, and a blockchain-enabled platform. The only thing a digital agency with a blockchain-enabled platform has is instant matchmaking. That you can do. We have smart AI or non-AI algorithms, deep search and category search, and you're going to find eventually projects and clients. That's something that is also on the market already. There are a couple of things you cannot, or it is not offered at least, with traditional or with digital platforms. It is instant payments, it is peer-to-peer contracts, it is not allowed at the moment. You always have a kind of platform, a kind of content that you give your clients. As said, monetizing your reputation, monetizing your network that you've built up. Those are all things with a smart token economy you can accomplish. And that helps to redistribute value in the whole community. So when we're talking about community, what is the community? Is the community only the freelancers? Is the community only the corporate clients? No, for us, Unitalent is acting as an operating system for the high skill freelance market. So it is inclusive and not exclusive. It invites all parties to join Unitalent, work on Unitalent, add value on Unitalent, and also get something back from it. Take freelance agencies. Some of them have listed hundreds or thousands of people. Statistically speaking, about 10 to 15% of listed freelancers with one agency are working on their projects at one single point in time. So the rest, nobody knows what's going on with them, at least not the freelance agency. The freelance agencies can join Unitalent, invite their network to work on Unitalent if they accept every time a single freelancer works through Unitalent, they will get rewarded. So they can really monetize their work, their network that they've built up, right? The same is for consulting firms. Talking about people who have been working with a consulting firm, it's all about how payable you are, right? In terms of how many payable hours you're charging your client. So if we have ways to liquefy the task force for major corporations or also for consulting houses, that would be amazing. Imagine people are off the projects, they have 2, 3, 4 hours a week time to do nothing, most probably, and then there's a transparent platform offering them solutions, and then those corporations can liquefy their task force. They can tell, okay, go out, it's a win for us because my employee is going to learn new stuff, interact with new clients or with new technologies, whatever. The employees were happy because it's not bored out, and I'm being rewarded for it, so somehow the paycheck is also looked after for, right? So this is why I'm saying that Unitalent is an inclusive solution, not an exclusive solution. We're designing the whole thing in a way that everyone has a stake if they join Unitalent. It's not competing against existing systems. And that's also the way that we scale. Looking at the architecture, I gave you like a little bit of an idea of how it should look like, because the blockchain technology has certain advantages and has certain things it cannot do, like big amounts of data render or privacy, GDPR topics, and so on and so forth. So Unitalent has two parts. The one part is where privacy data is all saved and stored, where all the heavy algorithms are run at in terms of matchmaking or premium services or accounting or reporting or knowledge management. And there is a part where everything that needs to be trustlessly secured is on the blockchain in terms of my rewards, my reviews, my reputation, my fees, and so on and so forth. So it is smartly combining the two worlds. This is very important, because if we would say everything is on the blockchain and then the world will be a much better one, this is a lie. This is not going to work. We are on the Ethereum blockchain, as a side remark. So looking at the whole product cycle, where a freelancer and a corporate client or user starts is, as a user, you can get onboarded, you build a profile. That profile is can be made public, so a freelancer does not need to build a separate public domain or website. You can use your Unitalent profile also for whatever, for promotion or whatever else you're using it. Then you go there, or as a client as well, you can find projects, you can find freelancers, you can sign contracts, you can negotiate with voice chat and other chat functionalities. You can do the whole reporting and knowledge management. One of the upsides for the corporate clients that we're working with now is they're saying, yes, listen, we are having, 150 freelancers a year, talking about a big corporation, and we don't know what they're doing because we have silos, right? Every silo is hiring freelancers for the same and again topics, but we don't really know where, because most of the freelancers are hired through line managers, not necessarily through HR. On Unitalent, there will be an external knowledge management tool, like a knowledge management tool for external knowledge or freelance knowledge. Every time you sign in with @jnj.com, you will exactly see, okay, what kind of reports have been handed in, but what kind of freelancers, and so on and so forth. So you will immediately see where you have put money in, what the outcome was, and where you can apply that knowledge again. All of this, end-to-end, comes at zero cost for freelancers. So freelancers have no fees in Unitalent. The only fees that apply is for clients once they have hired a freelancer and paid the freelancer. And I'm going to tell you why we charge those fees and how high the fees will be. Before I do that, I go back to this payment model that I described, crypto versus fiat money. The freelancer and the client, they can agree on whatever sum per day or per project they want to get, and those payments are done through escrow or fiat money. So the freelancer will get his money in fiat, fast. It might be if the freelancer wants, in some time from now maybe, or maybe already today, because he wants to gather tokens, he can choose that he get instantly paid by tokens, but basically the option is there that you always get paid in fiat money. Our native token that we are using on Unitalent is called Talent Token, or TAP. It's an ERC20 token. It will be on the Ethereum blockchain. It will be an amount, 8% in Talent Token, that is released and re-injected into the ecosystem. 8% is the value, so if you have 1,000 Swiss francs as fees, you will get 8% of that exchange into TAP and then inject it into the ecosystem. From the 8% up to 30%, or 20% anyways, 25% if you have a superstar, will be going back to the freelancer who has been working on the project. So every time a freelancer works on the project, in addition to the fees that he gets in fiat, he'll get also talent tokens. But also, if you, for instance, have referred anyone else to work on Unitalent, you will get also from our fees, so there's no additional cost, but we are sharing the fees that we are getting for a project, sharing it among the people that have added value to one single project. So it's a reward system that is on the platform as such. There are different ways that you can earn tokens. The one is that I explained. The other one is if you do, for instance, peer reviews. If you have a superstar status and you are like an IT security, cyber security person, and there's a basic freelancer that has just started, he can ping you or she can ping you and ask to be reviewed. And every time you review someone, you will earn tokens again. The way you can spend tokens is for premium services, for getting reviewed yourself, you can go on an exchange, of course, and get fiat money for that. So those are the mechanisms. You can gather and gather the talent tokens, and you can spend them on the platform, also for third-party service providers, or you can go on an exchange and just get fiat money for it. Quality assurance is very important because we are working with corporate clients, and the quality assurance is a two-tier system. The first tier is done by the Unitalent team as such, by the platform. That means first time somebody comes and wants to get onboarded, you fill in all your credentials, then you get interviewed, and your credentials will be checked. We are partnering with a company also on the blockchain that is working with universities to certify the proof-stamp certifications, and so on and so forth. That is the whole thing about the third-party ecosystem that we're integrating. And once you're in, it goes to the second step, and the second step is also partially automated and done by Unitalent. That's value testing and personality tests. And the other part comes with the community. That means peer reviews by other community members, reviews if you've been working on projects, of course, and that part is the community evaluation. So what we're really trying to do here is to motivate all parties to add value and get something back from it, right? These are some thoughts why people should stay in Unitalent, which is a valid question. Why should freelancers stay in Unitalent and not circumvent you? Same question, you're on Airbnb, you find a beautiful venue, and then you try to talk them directly and for not paying the fees or for whatever other reason, right? So there are a couple of mechanisms or incentives why we should stay in Unitalent. First of all is, of course, that you want to work on multiple projects, not only on one, right? It's not, you're not freelancers, or, yeah, freelancers do not want to work on one project for 2 years, but on several projects over 1 year. So for them it is important to build a reputation and get lower fees or get more of the fees back. And on the other hand, for them it's also very important to say, okay, the tool is convenient, it's user-friendly, it gives me access to a lot of clients, and every time I work on Unitalent, on top of my fees in fiat, I get tokens, I can do something with it. So there's intrinsic motivation for freelancers to tell their clients also, let's work on Unitalent. There's only upsides for me, there's no downside. On the other side, for the clients, it's similar. So one thing is they have access to a lot of freelancers, verified, high-quality freelancers. On the other side, the more they work, of course, the less they have to pay in fees. The third thing, which is also very important, is the knowledge management, right? Every time an ABB employee signs in with abb.com, he sees in their wiki exactly what freelancer have been working, on what projects, in what department, all the reports are there. So it makes everything much leaner, much more efficient, much more effective. And those are the ways where we are pretty sure will work out that people don't really want or don't feel the need to circumvent you. Yes. So where are we with all of this? We started developing the platform mid-2017. This is just part of the onboarding process to give you an idea of the look and feel. There is NZ involved there because, as I said, NZ Group International AG is a stock company behind Unitalent, but that's just a brand issue. The product will be, if everything goes well, ready mid-July, because as you know, there's also this utility token discussion with FINMA that we're in the middle of getting the no action letter with them and from them. And yes, the team is sitting here in Switzerland for this part of it. The product will have 200,000 lines of code for the first version that will go live for testing. And we introduced the front end to the community in Zurich in the Prime Tower about a month ago. And yes, this is where we are staying, or where we are in terms of our product. Good. Looking at the roadmap, we have a 2-year plan. Within 2 years, we want to reach, or we want to cover or roll the product out in all of our target markets. Our target markets are apparently those with the highest numbers of independent professionals. So for us, at this moment, it does not very much make sense to enter China, for instance, or enter India, or enter Africa. They will come eventually, but at the moment, it's not our target. It's the United States, of course. It is Europe, Nordic countries, the Persian Gulf region. Then you go to Asia Pacific, including Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, and then you go to South, where it is Australia. So this is our plan, what we will roll it out. The statistics also apply only to these countries. We don't have statistics about the number of freelancers in other countries. So we will reach the 30 million within our 2 years plan, and we want to get 1% of those. So we are not saying that we will get all of them. Our plan is to reach out to 1% of those. So onboard 300,000 people. We have all these scaling mechanism, reward mechanism inbuilt that we can enter into partnerships. So we don't have to do everything ourselves, but it's incentivizing all the people and all the partners, counterparts, corporations, as well as agencies, etc., existing networks to join us. And that's until the third quarter or end of 2020. This is what I just mentioned. We are talking about the 1% in 2 years that we want to reach, approximately 300,000 that we want to onboard. Conservatively calculating, we will have build freelancer billings of 800 million on the platform within 2 years. So we're talking about only 50% occupancy rate. We're talking about only 18 days per year of work per freelancer, and on average $1,000 of freelancer fees. So this is rather somewhere. If you compare it also, for instance, there's Freelance.de in Germany, which is very interesting. They have a subscription-only model. And as far as I recall, they make in the DACH region only 1 billion turnover. So looking at what we are entering here, these are rather conservative numbers, especially because we are not calculating third-party services in the premium services, which will be included in the platform. So, ICO, sorry. Why are we doing an ICO? This is a very good question. We were talking how the product comes out with crypto investors, we were talking to traditional investors, we were talking, of course, to VCs, etc., etc. The question that always comes up is why ICO? This is a very valid question. The answer is also very easy because what we are doing is community driven. What we are doing is to disrupt the way people have a stake in their work. So if you go to a VC and you have only 5 shareholders, and the value of the platform goes up and up, what's about the tokens? Because crypto tokens, we start from scratch. It doesn't really make sense, right? The disruptive part of the disruptive idea behind this is the sharing idea. It's really that everyone can be a token holder, that everyone can also have an influence now by joining us, by helping us making the product more matching to their needs, to their pain points, by getting engaged. And that's what we're doing on ICO. And this is part of our philosophy, and I hope that it works out. It looks very well at the moment, but you never know because the market goes up and down. But we're doing that at this moment, at least, not because we can't raise money from VCs, but because we want the community to get engaged. And this is part of our DNA. We will see how it works out. Good. We are planning to raise self-capital 5 million. We are talking to investors since 4 or 5 weeks. We are now a bit above 2 million that we have been able to raise. So we are in an area where we can finance already our ICO at least, because an ICO approximately costs 500,000 if you follow it properly. And so we are pretty happy about these circumstances, especially in these times, right? Good. Who is, something else which is very important. So how are we going to do, how many tokens? 200 million tokens. 50% we will sell. 25% will be as part of our reserve for unforeseen expenditures, but also for programs when it comes to fee redistribution, especially in the beginning, where the API maybe with the exchanges, depending how well it works, maybe we have some flying tokens in between where we have to pay the tokens and then have to wait until we get it back from the exchange. So those are our technical things, but 25% we'll keep for ourselves in terms of reserve, and the other 25% will be distributed among the people who have the same project. Good. A lot of the money will be invested in marketing and sales. This is very important. I have, if there is questions, also like a competitive analysis with me. There are companies in the digital platform like freelance work have raised 100 million and above. We are saying we're great, but nevertheless, we have to compete against them. There is a lot of marketing efforts that we have to put into. So 10% is sales on the ground. It's still people's business. 30% is marketing, and the rest of 30% will be for product and technology development. So these are the people working on the project at the moment. We are pretty well equipped in terms of experts in defining the token economics, experts who are knowledgeable of the freelance economy, experts who can define and write the code, of course, of the digital platform. We have the blockchain people sitting in Ukraine. We have a very strong marketing and community management team. Yes, we have Jakob is helping us with investor relations. So we are, I would say, in terms of staffing, I'm very happy to have all these guys on board. As I said, we are working, or we are starting now from scratch. We're an existing company with an existing network of clients and also independent professionals. So there are some of our endorsers. We are onboarding more and more. Those below are freelance endorsers who have been working with us for a while now, and above there are some high-profile corporate figures. On the right, there's Thomas, he's the CEO of the biggest steel company, 1 billion turnover that they have under management. Then we have Stefan Roof, he is the CEO of Oil and Gas, one of the biggest insurance companies of the world. And so on and so forth. Of course, there's Tobias and Charlie from technology-driven companies. And this is how we are approaching the market in terms of getting their feedback, asking them, what is this solving your problems really, or are we kind of in our bubble and think that is a great solution, and in the end get like a punch in our face. So we are doing this very analytically. We are talking to a lot of counterparts, not only investors and crypto guys, but also the market out there. And these are a couple of our numbers. Yes. So if you think this is a great thing and want to stay tuned, we have all our channels. They're called Unitalent ICO. We are on Instagram and Medium, and Telegram, and all of those ones, and Facebook. Stay tuned. Join those channels. We are sending information. Also, this video will be live streamed on Facebook.
And these on Twitter.
More people
So as a freelance cameraman, what
Yeah.
I'm getting.
I'll send you the contract. So, or why not beer coins? Belgian beer coins, right?
They're German apparently.
Yes, so just follow us, stay tuned. There's a lot of information that we are sharing with the community, and it will be great to have the one or other person that I'm seeing here also on our Telegram channels. For us, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is really a movement. This is not only about a product, this is not about a project, this is not about Unitalent. This is a movement, and somebody eventually will find a way to disrupt us. We hope that it is us, because we have all the preconditions to do so. We know the market, and so on and so forth, everything that I've explained. And this is one of the biggest challenges that we will be facing in the next couple of decades. The more people support this movement, the more people help us with their feedbacks, the more people get engaged. There's a lot about engagement. The faster we get there where we want to. So I look forward to a lot of great discussions and Q&As, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sure.
So use the crowd. Start from here. Wave everyone. Who's freelancer? Yeah, there's a couple out here. So I would suggest we do a small Q&A.
Of course.
Because he talks the talk, but does he walk the walk? So here's your questions. Who's got any?
Rubber fast shoes.
How do you make money? Because it's free for the freelancers and it's free for the corporate clients.
It's not free. Well, the corporate clients pay 9% fee. Let's go back to the corporate clients. On the right, you see the corporate clients. They pay an 8% fee. And those fees are paid in our native token, the Talent token. And out of those tokens, we will reward not only, let's say, we will reward everyone who had a stake in making a project happen. Unitalent is one of those parties. We have to maintain, debug, and further develop the platform, of course. Then there is a freelancer himself or herself. Get up to 25% of our fees will be redirected back to her. And then there is all the people who participated by referring that person to join Unitalent and so on and so forth. So on average, our fee will be about, depending on the different constellations, between 4 to 5%.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Marcos?
I used to work for one of the big four, and
Yeah.
some of the stuff that we did before each project was having this risk management assessment. So it was quite lengthy and burdensome, and like with a lot of questions, and then see the liability for the company, both companies. So my question is, how do you face this liability if one of the freelancers just makes something wrong, and then this company that is a client gets a fine? How do you manage that? Because aside from vetting the freelancer, which is great, but then how do you handle the contract between the company and Unitalent?
We don't. Very easy. We don't. We are not there to take responsibility. We're building an operating system for the community to work directly with each other. There's a very different way to work when you're an independent professional versus a part of a big four company. Because if you're part of let's say you're at McKinsey, you do a project, 2-3 weeks, you charge millions of dollars, they buy your brand, they buy the risk management, they buy an insurance if you fail. So, and normally you're not in execution. So freelancers and independent professionals, it's a lot about fast and flexible execution. They get people in when strategy is already defined, and they need people who have done it several times. They want those people to take the lead, execute it, deliver it, and get out. They don't, freelancers in this segment are not people who get, I don't know, what company were you at? Like PricewaterhouseCoopers. Did you do like auditing or something?
It was forensic financial crimes. So.
Okay, you see, I don't think that at the moment at least, what we are seeing that a single freelancer will be given the responsibility to do forensic, like a whole forensic analysis, whatever it's called. But after you've done that, you found the flaws. Somebody has to execute it, right? And then there it is where most independent professionals get in and get the execution done.
Yeah.
If there are disputes, we have the community dispute management. But in the end, this is very important. We are not putting ourselves as, nobody's selling Unitalent in the end. The clients are not buying Unitalent. The clients are buying you. Therefore, your reputation is so important. And therefore, you should own your reputation.
Great, thank you.
Thank you to own the reputation. Anybody else? Questions? Yes.
So yeah, as you mentioned, you have competitors.
Yeah.
Just wondering, I actually got some emails in the last weeks from some of your competitors. Didn't really think that much and found this as well. Just bring me down that place, come take a look.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know from your point of view how you differentiate yourself,
Yeah.
how does Unitalent differentiate itself from the competitors?
Are you talking about blockchain competitors?
Also, yes,
Yeah.
couple of blockchain competitors.
Let me go. Okay, the right chart is the blockchain competitors. It's a bit small because it's far away. And the left chart is the online but off-chain competitors. Looking at the blockchain competitors, there's a couple of things. The one thing where we differentiate ourselves is that we don't pay any tokens. We're not expecting freelancers to accept tokens. The other thing is we are in the niche market of high-skill freelancers. Very clearly. The third thing is we are not directly coming from the. So we have a lot of experience in this market. We know when it comes to compliance, we have the access to a lot of clients to verify that, etc., etc. And looking at the two, like the lower part, there's like the freelancer, freelancer, blockchain, they're the most progressed. Blockchain, what they're doing, they are very much focusing on dispute resolution. So it very much depends how they have defined their token economics. If the token economics are defined in a way where, so you have to deep dive and have a look how they incentivize with their token economics. And if it's something where everybody has a real motivation to get something done correctly, add value, and then you earn your tokens, that's superb. I've not seen one of those companies doing that yet, but as I said, they will come. I mean, it's a matter of time. It's really a matter of time. And yes, is that fine?
That's your question. Good. Anybody else?
I have a question since you're using blockchain for your platforms.
Yes.
Where do you guys store the information of freelancers?
Like private data?
Yeah, that's personal information.
Not on the blockchain.
Including the reviews.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at the architecture. So we're having our servers for privacy data on the left side in Switzerland. This is a very important point. So GDPR stuff and everything that's related to your personal data, we need to be able to protect that. We can't put it on the blockchain. That's the first thing. The second thing is we don't add value by doing so anyways. The blockchain is not able to handle algorithms that need to do a matchmaking within a fraction of a second. So we are securing everything that is part of your either reward or your reputation or your remuneration, etc., on the blockchain. So nobody can come and claim and say, no, I referred it, but where's my reward? What happened to that? I mean, I can't corrupt that. I can change that. But when it comes to his name and to his company details, we're not putting that on the blockchain. It does not add value to neither of us to do so.
So the information stored on blockchain, like the reviews, are linked to a username, which in the background is run by a real name.
Yes.
Can I just add to that question?
Yes, sure.
Are you planning to decentralize that? Because that's a centralized part you have integrated, which is
The left part?
Yes, it's a type of
Well, we are the Ethereum blockchain. When we have decided not to go with private blockchain, for instance, on a decentralized Ethereum blockchain, we're not looking forward to do that in the near future. No.
the storage of the data.
The left part, the storage of the private data. Not
Yes.
really, no.
Okay, you said the services included already, like AWS.
We can talk about that later, but we have looked into that, but we don't think it adds value to the party because it makes the whole system much slower than it should be in terms of transaction speed, but also in terms of regulatory
I know that the problem when you see the difficulty is that you have a central part.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the weakest link in the chain. Yeah. So at the end, I have to trust that you have the right connection to the personal name of this person and his private key or his connection on the blockchain. So if somebody attacks this part, you could mess everything up.
If somebody attacks this part, that is possible that you can mess that up, but you have to be very careful to protect that exact part. If somebody attacks that part, it will be the private data that will be accessible to someone. And
That happens with centralized services.
I mean, looking at the regulations, I don't really think that at the moment we would get through with that, honestly speaking. We have a compliance, GDPR compliance person with us, and he tells us as long as it's crypto. But we can discuss it. To put private data on public blockchain.
Yeah, because of GDPR, you are required to delete the data out of the user if he's in the European Union. So, and then if it is in the blockchain, you cannot delete it. And
But we can
Yeah,
discuss it.
I think there's a fundamental topic because it's, if the architecture is decentralized, then I'm just providing the infrastructure. I'm not only the communicating of any customer or client. So all the data is client-side stored. And if it's very hard to do this today. Technology is not that far yet, so I understand why you have the solution. But GDPR is nothing that you need to worry about if you use the blockchain properly. Because no data is owned by the company ever.
yeah, the problem maybe is make the regulators understand that.
Well, that would
If they come with a fine.
But no, actually, they would see the benefit in my future, in my vision. Facebook will be demanded to be on a blockchain is decentralized because it doesn't own any data. So it will be the regulator who actually forces companies to use blockchain in a decentralized way.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
anybody else with a question before we get into the technical, philosophical things of stuff?
I do have a question. It's more actually a general question around the, you were fully centered. Now you are again. Well, we talked about an ICO. So I'd like to understand, and it's not to ask any challenging question, but I guess the normal question I would ask as an investor, why is it a great investment, right? Opportunity. And I know you talked a lot about that, but people also have a tendency to say, okay, I'm investing in crypto, so that's all I'm doing.
Yes, I think it's a great opportunity and people should invest because we are linking the crypto world to the real world, right? We're not generating a token economy and emitting tokens for something that is completely virtual. It is based on the value of the token, it's a purposeful token that is based on the work of the freelancers on the platform. The demand is already there. We're talking about the big number of freelancers, we're talking about the $1.5 trillion market. So we are not creating a market and then attaching a token to it. We're taking the market and making it more efficient by using a tokenized economy. And therefore the token per se is backed by the work of the freelancers. I hope this answers the question.
It does. And maybe any specifics you want to share with us about the ICO? Any special terms for us here tonight?
Yes, of course. We are in the product pre-sale at the moment. So anyone who wants to get engaged and get involved, we have now a 50% discount. Just approach me, and we have minimum investment at the moment. We have no lockup periods. What we are doing is, for token holders, we will reward them by a kind of a discount for every month that they hold the token until the 12th month after the ICO. So if you are a token holder, you have no lockup period. If you want to go and dump it, you're not welcome, but you can do so. But if you hold it, for every month that you hold it, we will give you additional tokens. So that's the way we want to incentivize holding also until the whole system is taken.
And that amount of tokens will come out of the investor pool, or
That amount of tokens will come out of the reserve.
out of the 25 reserve?
Exactly. So we stop minting at the end of the ICO, so it will not be diluted. The total number will be max 200 million talent tokens, not more. And therefore, it is not like, okay, we are generating more tokens to diluting the market and
So no
sending it to the holders. Yeah, no, that's a very good question.
So I'm holding my filming tokens right now for a year, and I'll get a lot more then.
Very good.
Cool.
Very good.
Loving it. Anybody else has a...
Yes.
Okay. What's the minimum? Which currencies do you accept? Do you need the whitelist?
We don't accept, because of compliance reasons, of course, American citizens, no Chinese citizens, no US dollars. Anything else is very low.
And the minimum?
15,000
Euro, Swiss francs.
Swiss francs.
What will happen is part of this problem in your
Yes, we have all of this financed until now by the company, with NZ Group that is backing it. We have invested approximately 150,000, including all the team expenditures that we have, of course, but the bulk part is software development that we started mid last year. And now with the investments that are coming in, so we can fund it with the ICO with the investors.
is your company in hand of
Like the hard cap?
I know what's saying is that your company is investing, so the existing assets will shop.
Complete, everything, completely, yes. We are disrupting our business model. We are changing it completely. So NZ Group is backing it, and we are going down to zero, and we'll start redeeming on the account. So we're not planning to plan this is our future.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
One last question.
Of course.
What are you guys going to do with the remaining tokens if you guys still
Burn them all. I would suggest, first of all, Bart, thank you so much. I mean, it's been very insightful. And we are going to make a small break. You guys can still ask questions to Bardia. I think he won't shy away. And you have the recording there. You will have the recording here. And on Twitter, some of that.
Yes, like us, follow us, and Telegram. Do you have Telegram? Who has Telegram here?
Everyone! Yeah. Thank you.